So I've realized most guitar players will learn the 5 pentatonic shapes, but very few actually learn how to travel through them. And in 27 years of playing guitar, I've realized I've learned to see the fretboard in a completely different way. Not in boxes, but in these little 4-note blocks that just repeat seamlessly all over the entire neck. And when you connect them using a simple 3-note per string pattern, you unlock a roadmap that just takes you throughout the entire neck. So easy. Alright, so let's start with the core idea. In A minor, it looks like this. That's it, just 4 notes. And what makes this so powerful is those same 4 notes repeat themselves when you climb into the next position. And it repeats again into box 2. One repeating shape, 3 different octaves, and all of it is sitting right on top of the tones that define the pentatonic scale. We've got the root, the minor third, the fourth, and the flat 7th. And we all love bending that 4th up to the perfect 5th. And most importantly, these tones are what define the underlining chord shape. That's why so many of our licks from our favorite players, like Clapton, Bonamassa, Eric Johnson, they all live within this 4-note box. Anyway, you get the idea. Here's where it gets fun. When you play this in box 5, then again in box 1, and again in box 2, you're literally climbing through the boxes without thinking, oh, I'm in box 1, now I'm in box 2, oh, now I'm in box 3. Your eyes and your hands just kind of start recognizing these patterns naturally as they come across the neck. Now, let's glue all this together. The blocks give you the landmark, but the 3-note per string pattern is how you travel between them. And that's how I travel into box 5, into box 1, into box 2, and eventually landing all the way up on the 12th fret on the high E string, placing me perfectly into box 4. The best part is this system works in every single key, because the block shape never changes. All you do is you just slide the root. If I want to play in G minor, I just shift everything down 2 frets. And if I want to play in C minor, I just shift everything up 3 frets. Same shapes, new key, instantly. Alright, so let's get into the licks that I use pretty much every day. This first one is my go-to lick from box 1 back into box 5. Alright, so let's break this down. So this starts on the 7th fret of the G string, which is a D note. And we're going to do a full bend up to our E, which is also the perfect 5th. Then we're going to come back down to our D note, and then we're going to do a pull off to the minor 3rd. Then now we're going to do a double stop on the B string and G string, and we're going to do a 1/4 note bend back, and then from there, then we're going to play the 7th fret of the D string, and we're going to play that twice. So we're going to do So all together, that first part is. Alright, so now for the second part, we finished up with the 2 notes on the 7th fret of the D string, which is our root note, the A. Now we're going to do a pull off to the 5th fret of the D string, which is our flat 7th. Now we're going to do a chromatic run on the A string, starting on the 7th fret, and we're going to play the 7th fret, pull off to the 6th fret, and then pull off again to the 5th fret, and then we're going to slide that down to the 3rd fret. And then from the 3rd fret, we're going to do another half bend to our major 3rd, then we're going to come back up, and then we're going to finish it on our A note, the root, which is on the 5th fret of the low E string. So all together, that is. Sometimes I will come back and I will do. You can add variations to that however you want. There's the basic lick and you can vary it to taste. So all together slowly, the whole lick is. Up to speed. And as you can see, we added a note into our pentatonic scale. We added the flat 5. We did that in that little chromatic run that we did. And I love adding the flat 5 whenever I can. And then also, we technically added 2 notes because we added the major 3rd in there too with our quarter note bend. So adding the major 3rd and the flat 5 is something that I like to do a lot in all of my playing. It's something that some of my favorite players do too. It's a very bluesy thing to do. You hear that in a lot of Clapton's playing, Bonamassa playing. It's used quite a bit, and it's something I really like to do. The second one is my personal favorite. It shoots you from box 1 all the way up into box 3. I use this literally every time I solo in A minor, and it's got that Clapton feeling with that Bonamassa power. All right, so nice and slow. All right, so we're starting in the same place as we did on the first lick, which we're going to start right here in our 4-note box in box 1. We're going to start right here on the D note of the 7th fret of the G string. And again, we're going to do a full note bend up to a perfect 5th, which is the E. And then we're going to come back down and we're going to pull off again to our 5th fret. But this time we're going to come back and we're going to bar across the 7th fret of our G string and our D string. And then we're going to play the 7th fret of the 3rd string and then the 7th fret of the 4th string. Now we're going to come back to the 5th fret of the G string. And then we're going to play that D note again. Then we're going to slide up with our middle finger to the 9th fret of the G string. Now we're going to follow this A minor triad that lives right here in box 2, which is, and we're literally going to highlight that triad. So we're going to start on the B string on the 10th fret. And then we're going to play the E note, which is on the 9th fret of the G string. And we're going to play, so we're going to play the 10th fret of the B string to the 8th fret of the G string. And then we're going to play the 8th fret of the B string back to the 10th fret of the B string. So all together that is. Okay. Now we're going to go to the 8th fret of the high E string, And we're again, that's our minor third, and we're gonna do that minor third to major third bend again. Back down, and then now we're gonna end on our A note on the B string. So all together that is. And again, I usually play that A note twice. Now, another thing that I usually like to do, which is how we shoot it into box 3, I'll play that triad again. But then now I'm gonna come down to the 8th fret of the high E string. And instead of bending, I'm gonna hammer on to the 10th fret. And then I'm gonna slide up to the 12th fret. Which right there, we're in box 3, right? Now, a lot of times I'll play that again. I'll hammer off to the 10th fret, and then I'll come back, slide down to our minor third, do that minor to major third bend again, and then hammer on to our minor third. So all together that is. So all together that would be. Nice and slow. Yeah, so that's lick 2. All right, so as a bonus, I'm gonna show you that fast run that I did in the beginning of the intro that I played. And it's literally just playing the full roadmap that we already showed, but we're gonna play it in a cascading way that is very similar to what like Eric Johnson would do in his playing. So it went something kind of like this. Okay, nice and slow. So that's actually 3 different licks that we're playing 3 different times in 3 different positions. So it starts out here, and we're gonna play our 4-note box and box 5, right, that we already know. So we're gonna start out on the 3rd fret of the low E string, and then we're gonna play the 5th fret of the low E string, and then we're gonna come down and play frets 3 and 5 on the A string. But then this time we're gonna go up and we're gonna play the 7th fret of the A string, which is our 3-note per string transition, right? So far we got. Now we're gonna play that back down. So we're gonna go from the 7th fret to the 5th fret to the 3rd fret. And then we're gonna play the 5th fret of the low E string. And then we're gonna play that 3-note per string pattern again. So nice and slow, that is. Okay, now what we do is we just go down to that same box that is in position 1 of the minor pentatonic, and we're gonna play that same thing again. Now we're going down to position 2 of the minor pentatonic, which we already know, and we're going to play it a 3rd time. It's a very Eric Johnson thing to do, to play cascading licks that repeat themselves. So all together that is. Up to speed. And you can play that in different variations. You can play those with hammer-ons. You don't have to alternate pick it. You can do. And then another thing, like I did in what I played in the intro, was I actually finished it off in box 4, and I played something like... Now that bend right here that I'm doing on the B string, it's actually right here on this G up to our A minor. But on my guitar, I have a 7 1/4 radius neck, and that bend, it kind of chokes out. You hear that? It just doesn't ring out as clearly as it does on the B string. To me, I think it sounds better on the B string. So I just transfer up to the B string to play that one note, but I still technically consider that in box 4. So here's the full roadmap. We have the 4-note block, which is our anchor. We have the 3-note per string, which is our connector. So this system moves through all 5 positions, and it gives you real world licks that you can use immediately in your playing. Once you see the neck this way, you're never going to feel stuck in boxes again. I made free tabs available for the whole block system, the 3-note connector system that we used, and all the licks that you've seen in this video. You can download them below, just enter your email, and they're yours completely for free. If this opened up the fretboard for you, hit subscribe, and leave a comment below on which one was your favorite lick. More videos coming on the way, and I'm Brandon Bradshaw, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.